Hey, everybody, this is Mary.
And this is Julie.
And you are listening to the High Priestess Hype Club. Hi, everyone.
Hey.
I'm side noting already, but I wanted to. I have to tell you the story about my mother. For those of you who have listened in the past, I've talked about her, and I call her the saint. She's very religious, very devoted to her Catholic faith. And so I used to call her Mother Teresa, and then it was Saint Mother Teresa, and then it just became the saint. So in saying that she's very religious, you have to understand my mother will watch EWTN, which is a Catholic channel, all day, pray the rosary a couple of times a day, go to mass 3 times a day through EWTN. And if she's out in the kitchen, she runs, which is, as much as she can run for an 86-year-old woman, but she does stop moving fast to get in to the living room because she says that she's going to be late for mass.
Big hustling.
So the other day, leaving the room, and she said, "Oh, do me a favor, come here and give me a hug." And she's little, she's tiny, she's under 5 feet now, she's all gray, she's got the map of Ireland on her face, she's this little tiny saintly woman. And I bend down to hug her, and I felt a death grip on the back of my head that I didn't know still existed in her, but it did. She had me. And then she's like, "All right, God." And she starts like blessing me on the forehead. And she's like, "All right, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, I want you to bless Mary. I want you to like do all these things." So we're going on for about 2 minutes. She still got me by the death grip. And finally I said, "Mom, I'm really sorry to interrupt this prayer and this blessing. This is beautiful, but can we go the short version? Because like, this is really kind of starting to hurt." And she was like, "You got to be wise, don't you? Don't you?" I said, yes, I do. "Can I have my head back? I'm going to leave now." So it was a forced blessing. I don't.
Full body blessing.
Full body blessing. I'm like, yeah. So that's, don't let them trick you. The older ones, they got it in them when they want it to do it. So, yeah, I found that out when I was held down by an 86-year-old woman who had Parkinson's disease. But she was, you're getting your blessings whether you want them or not. So
yeah, it's
I'll
like the straight, like when moms can, like they say they can lift a car if it's like their kid stuck under it. Your mom was like, "You're gonna get blessed before you get out of this house." I don't care.
She doesn't care, and she had superhuman strength. So
that's hardcore, dude.
It's right. It's crazy. But in speaking about that, we wanted to talk to everyone today about a pagan holiday that's coming up. When this gets released, I believe it's going to be on August 1st. So it's going to be on.
It's the day of.
It's Lughnasadh. Yes, also known as Lou. Yeah. So when I was out doing public rituals around Massachusetts, I really liked this holiday because it was really a lot about community and gathering people together. And, it reminds you that summer is fleeting. Like life is fleeting. Yeah. Based on some of the Irish mythology, it was, I think you had read something about it, Lugh. It was his marriage, his wedding day. I had always known it as being a funeral for his mother.
Oh, that's right. Because you'd mentioned that we were looking. Yes.
Yeah.
And I'd read something about that too.
Yeah. So it depends if you want to look at it as a celebration for a wedding or a celebration for like an honoring of someone. You can look at it either way, but it's about a gathering. It's about coming together as community, being abundant, being grateful, because, August, if we think about it in modern times, I don't know about you, but especially when I was in school, it'd be like, all right, the summer's winding down.
Right.
Going into fall, we need to prepare, like go out school shopping and, kind of get everything ready because we're going to come into the colder time of year. Like switching around your closet and and doing all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And I think in modern times now, we do see that shift between summer and fall. We just do it a little differently now than, the witches did.
Yeah. No, I think that's true. I think that makes sense too. Look, sidebar for you guys too. Like, I did not run public rituals, and I like we know I'm bad at hitting the moons. We're working on this. Same thing with the sabbats, right? We're working on it. We know a little bit. We're trying to actually like be a good witch about it and learn a little more. But I think what kind of happened was I thought that like, yeah, we spring cleaning, we're like getting things out, and for and lightening things up, refreshing, right? But for this time of year, for me, I'm talking and scratching my face. It's great
It's all right.
television that I think that but I was thinking about how it's like getting new stuff, bringing things in, right? Like bringing in the harvest, bringing in like new
Yeah.
clothes, getting the winter jacket, like, and I was like, oh, that's when I want to start making everything cozy and like
Right.
start getting everybody ready for like, okay, we're going to be in the house more as it gets
Mhm.
colder, like,
That's
that
a
was a long
perfect
way around for like lightening up
no.
and making more cozy.
No, I think it's great. It's great because it is like these things that we do. I think subconsciously we start
Yeah,
preparing, for the darker half of the year. So when we say that the darker half, that just means that we have less light. We don't
right.
have as much daylight. We're going more into more nighttime. And I don't know for you, but for me, like I really want to hold on to those summer days because I know the fall's coming and I'll be honest with you guys. I love it to a certain degree. And I'm in Massachusetts. I'm in New England. So of course it's Salem time and the leaves are changing and we're doing all, apple picking. And I know y'all do that other places, but it's special here. Let's be honest. So it is pumpkin picking, all that. Right.
Oh, that,
So we're getting in that space where it's like, okay, it's more about being cozy and having, that apple cider and those things that will warm us up as the darker half comes. It just means that, we're going to hibernate a bit more.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I think for me, it's still 8,000 degrees in Virginia.
Yeah.
So, like, the idea of like, ooh, it's not quite there yet.
Yeah.
But I think too, well, you guys have like snow longer than we do
Uh-huh.
here, all of that. And I also, it's funny, you're like, I'll miss those warm days. Like, my seasonal affective disorder
Hmm.
appreciates the summer.
Mm. Hmm.
My liking to be outside appreciates the fall and winter a little more.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I joke with my family, and I have some friends who listen to this. What up, y'all who
Hey.
used to do band camp in the summer on Blacktop in Alabama? So F the summer, I'm done. But but I see so but yeah, I think that for me it's always kind of been, especially because this is the furthest north I've lived the majority of my life.
Hmm.
Like Lughnasadh was kind of like, okay, first harvest, beginning of fall. Uh-huh. Okay,
Right.
sure. But now
Right.
we're trying to be more symbolic and thoughtful about it. And
Yes. So before you were kind of like, oh, first
where was
harvest,
I?
what's up with that? Well, I think symbolically sometimes, I mean, I know for me, it's like, okay, I really don't want to let go of the summer, but I need
Yeah.
to get into the fall and I need to get into that time where I'm not outside as much. And how do I navigate
Yeah.
nature now and really appreciating things. It's really a lot about gratitude at this time of year, which I know, if you want to think about other times of the year where we talk about gratitude, different holidays or different times,
Sure.
sure. But this is a really good time for it because it's like, all right, we want to appease, back in the day it was let's appease the gods and have a festival and give them offerings and stuff like that.
Right. So that we have a good harvest and then everything
Hmm.
goes when we have enough to like survive the winter. And I think what
Right.
you were talking about too earlier about how like how do we celebrate it as like a modern culture? I think that is
Hmm.
different. Like being too
Mm.
stuck in like the modern, like not thinking back got me to where I was just kind of like, it's still 98 degrees,
Right.
whatever. That doesn't make
Right.
sense, but you're still preparing. Like you're
Hmm.
still, and as you like get closer to wheel of the year kind of stuff, you can kind of feel the energy shift, even if your weather hasn't shifted yet where you
Yeah.
live.
Yeah. No, that's a great point, Jules. Like it doesn't have to be start getting cold. Like it's a
Mhm.
mindset, and yeah, it's getting prepared. And the thing is, if you start taking stock of things in August, in your life, like you could take that time to say, okay, it's been January through July.
Yeah.
What's been going on? Where am I? And
Yeah.
now that I'm going to have more time, maybe indoors or more time reflecting, what can I do with it? So it's a big intention setter time too, guys. Like if
Interesting.
you want to, see where you are, kind of regroup, see how you're going to finish out the year, what energy you're going to put out there. And, you have to remember like whatever intentions and motivations you're doing now, as you continue to do them, that's going to go out to the universe and then it's going to start to appear. So it's a good time to take stock. It's a good time. And also like, what do you need? Like we were talking about your winter coat, like, you get your
Yeah.
jeans out. Like, do I need to put some stuff away down my basement if you have a basement? things like that. It's sort of shifting my mom really a lot with fall. She's so old school, guys. I love it about her though. She'll change out the tablecloths. She'll change out the
Oh
decorations.
yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? We start going into fall and we're seeing those golden colors and,
Yes.
those warm colors because we want to be warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had, you know how I am. I had a thought in the middle that you're talking about preparing, and then I was
Yeah.
thinking, you're like, it's the dark half of the year, and then we are in like that last quarter ish of
Hmm.
like the wheel of the year heading towards Samhain and everything. So I
Hmm.
think taking stock, where are you? Where are we trying to be by the time the new year comes?
Hmm.
I think is pretty. That kind of was like, okay, that could be a nice reflective thing to work on, and
Yeah.
then well, we get political on here sometimes, but I thought it was
Yeah.
interesting that Samhain is right before the election. It might
I
be a
know.
nice time to take stock of things are changing. We all have our political views,
Mm.
blah, blah, blah. You guys know what sign we lead on. Like,
Hmm.
I went ahead and like signed up to write postcards.
Mm.
So, is there something that
Yeah.
you can do to prepare to help yourself, your family,
Hmm.
your community? I know some people who are more concerned about if they have to leave the country, so they're preparing
Hmm.
that way. But I
Truth.
think there's a lot, or are you just talking to your family members like, hey guys,
Hmm.
where you at on this?
Yeah.
Again, this is all related, I guess, but like it's making me think of different ways you can take stock in where you've been, how the year has gone, what can you bring in to prepare
Hmm.
for the next cycle?
Yeah. No, I think it's an excellent point because if you think about it, Lug is about a festival. It's about a celebration. And so it's also looking at, getting the community together and how we can
Yeah.
help the community. So,
Yeah.
and and I think, guys, no matter what political side you lean on or on, I hope, I'll say it this way, I hope that folks really realize that the a lot of the efforts that we do happen at community level.
Yeah.
And so Lug is a good time to remind you of that. Maybe it's time to see some friends. Maybe it's time to help somebody out. Maybe it's time to volunteer. It's things like that because that momentum will help us with any election or any changes that are happening in the world. Because the election isn't the only thing, right? We've
Right.
got so much other stuff going on. But Luke is a sun god. He's out there trying to shine. And I think that's part of what this is that as the sun gets not as bright, not as strong, right?
Yeah.
And we have to take time to kind of be gentler with ourselves. It's action, but it's reflective type of action. So that's why that is preparing you. Like, let's have the celebration, let's
Hmm.
get everybody together. And then there's some times that we're gonna work inward. And that's the beginning of it. So yeah, taking heed and understanding where you are and how
Yeah,
far
that's
you've
like,
come too. That's a really big part of it. There is times of gratitude that are there that even if you've had hard times, how far you've come. So don't
yeah.
forget that either, right? But yeah, so a big thing Lug or Lughnasadh is also known as Lammas, which is loaf mass, right?
Right.
So based on Christian tradition,
Hmm.
so that's where that comes in, for folks who are like, all right, a lot of the pagan holidays and the Christian holidays are around each other.
Hmm.
Not saying that's a coinky dink because it's not.
Right.
Mm-mm. But a lot of people bake bread around this time too.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
they like to create, and baking bread is a big part of it, because you can share bread and it can feed you. It's part of the grain harvest, the grain celebration and all that because we celebrate the
Right.
grains and things with this harvest. So I know, Jules, like, were you talking about you're gonna start making bread again?
Yeah. I was thinking, plus I mean, I did just talk about the heat for a long time, but it gets to where I want to start making bread again when it starts to
Mhm.
like get colder, get fall.
Yeah.
Probably should get a new starter because sadly Old Tang Town 2 ate it, but that's okay. It was
Yeah. It's all
things
right.
happen.
Reflection. Yes.
Right, reflection on how I could have
Mhm.
done better there. But yeah, and this year I want to learn how to like
Oh.
bake yeast bread because
Mhm.
I'm scared of yeast. I don't know why. I've always been nervous about like it not proofing properly. But I've watched enough baking show at this point
Right?
that I can like attempt it. And if it's bad, I can like Paul Hollywood myself and laugh at myself and keep going. But yeah, but so I
Mhm.
wanted to bake bread and I thought it would be a good time to start. And so I think I'm gonna bake something for Lou, either an oat bread or a cornmeal bread, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's funny because tonight went off air, guys. I was telling Julie how I cooked. I had pasta left over, so I made a lazy ladies lasagna, as I like to call it, ladies lasagna. But there's only two of us here in the house, so I have a ton because I don't know how to cook any other way but Italian. So we make too much. So I'm gonna start. I was like, I'm gonna freeze some of this. I think I'm gonna cut it up and freeze it if we don't eat it all over the next couple of days. And she was like, I didn't even think of that. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting prepared. So because there's gonna be nights. Yeah, there's gonna be nights that I'm gonna come home or I'm gonna be like, I do not want to cook. So I'm getting that kind of all prepared for us to just be able to do something easy and things like that. So I'm a bit in, I'm a bit in that mode. So that's stuff you can do too, guys. Like again, it's all modernized. So if you want to, meal prep a bit and have some stuff ready to freeze. Yeah, so that's there was some food stuff. Like I was like, because of course, like I said, I can make way too much pasta. I can make way too much of everything, guys. Really.
Well, we learned to cook for like 8 to 20.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Oh my God.
Taught to cook for large crowds.
Yes. Yeah. Because there was always be seconds and you don't know who's going to drop by and, all that kind of stuff. And you can just pop something in the, the microwave or the oven. It's easy. So good times to get prepared for that kind of stuff. Some folks I know people who go out and buy big sides of beef and have it in a freezer. Listen, if you're a vegetarian, I apologize. I'm saying this is what I know. I'm not saying I do this. But people go out and they buy, it's the time to kind of get everything
prepped. Yeah.
Prepped. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So celebration community, guys, again, volunteering is a great way to kind of celebrate this and get ready to do some things that are good and be in service. So it's a lot of fun. And listen, the colors I usually love, I use those fall colors if I'm doing anything around ritual with it. So we were talking about altars too, Jules. You were looking at maybe doing an altar.
Yeah, and
like a fall
lots of golds and greens, and then maybe throw some more reds and oranges in when Maven hits.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Get some leaves from outside, guys. Add some nature. Pine cones, I know, are also a pretty good one. Yeah. I mean, you can do it's your altar and it's your space, so you can do. But making it colorful is just really, I think the gods like color, if you do something pretty for them, or they're like, oh, I like that.
And a Lou related herb that would be pretty on there is a calendula or a dandelion. There's that gold yellow again. So that's a big one associated. Yeah. I might pour a candle with that in the wax. That could be cool.
Ooh.
Maybe I'll do that.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, and again, you can put all your intentions in there for the reflection in the fall and all that kind of good stuff. Yeah. So if you are not as creative as Julie is with candles, you can always go out and buy a yellow candle and write your intentions under, I usually write on a piece of paper, put it underneath the candle, get some things that represent fall and the things you want to accomplish for the rest of the year. Light that up.
Yep. Light it up.
Jules, do you have any tips for people who are doing some candle magic? Because Julie is the candle magic lady. She's so good at it.
So many candles going.
So many candles going.
For me, other people, whoever.
Yep. So how would you give, just, anything that maybe someone would be good for someone if they're burning a candle for an intention?
So good tips for burning candles for intentions. So when you get your candle, I don't care if you buy it. I don't care if you make it. It doesn't matter. Okay. So you get your candle. One, make sure it's not, this is going to be some mom safety tips, but first, make sure it's safe where you're burning it. Do not burn down your house.
Nope.
Or your apartment or wherever you are, because it sucks.
Yeah. So, people don't like that. Yeah. No,
it doesn't go well.
Not optimal.
No, sidebar, let a candle burn too long. Usually I use the big, 7 days. I got one of the shorties, the wax. The wick was the same one. It burned too hot, burned part of the paint off my windowsill, learned a lesson. That wasn't that long ago. I think I'd gotten a little too comfortable with all my candles burning. So did not burn my house down.
Thank you.
Okay. So get your candle, put it in a safe space. And then really any way you want to cleanse it that you feel comfortable with. I prefer incense, to smoke cleanse it. I really like doing that. Just go all around it and think about getting off any just residual energy that's not yours on it, right? And then you can either write on the candle, especially if it's those glass candles,
or
you can, the 7 days, you can write on the outside of it. You write your name, birthday, whoever, anything that you want that would be setting the intention and you're comfortable with the possibility of somebody else seeing. It's not a requirement, but it can
Right.
help. And then if you want to add herbs or crystals, not too many, because you don't want to flood the wick when it burns and it'll put your candle out.
Yeah, it's not good.
Not great, but you can pick a couple things. I like to sprinkle some stuff in there of some oils that I've made, but like not a lot, y'all, like a drop. We're not trying to like
No.
pyrotechnic situation. So, and then honestly, what I think works better than anything extra is just literally holding it and thinking about what you want it to do. Right? Is it bringing you something? Is it helping you release something? Is it, I mean, those are your two basics, right?
Right.
And you can kind of visualize what that would look like or what that looks like for the person you're trying to help. And as much visualization as you can get into with that without being so specific that you're not leaving room for like the universe or whomever to do what is actually in your best interest, not just like, well, this is what I think I should get.
Right. Right.
Because that doesn't usually work the way you think it should.
No.
So, and I just take a minute with it. And you guys know we've talked about Reiki. Yeah. So I usually can tell I'm like in the zone with it too. Like you can feel your energy kind of shift. You kind of drop down a little bit. You know, if you do Reiki or whatever or even if you don't, you might notice your hands either kind of warm up or you get kind of an energetic feeling in it. And then I just sit with it as long as I feel like is right. And some days that's like 15 seconds because maybe that's all I have. And that's as much focus as I have that morning. And maybe it's a couple minutes. And then I light it and set it wherever it's supposed to be and just let it burn. Now, I burn candles all day, but that's just me. Just for however long that works well for you. But to get a good burn, you want to try to burn it for at least 2 hours.
Yeah.
So, and then when I relight them in the morning, because it's like part of my day or whenever you do it, take a minute. You don't have to hold it again, but I usually like take a minute and look pretty much like look right at the candle, think about what I wanted again, what it's working to help me do, you know, ask my guides or whoever to help me, you know, realize that. And then I light it again. And I do that every time I set it up. And I thank it when I put it out. And I put it out not by blowing on it, but you snuff it.
No. Don't blow on it, guys. You blow away your magic.
Right.
You have to snuff it.
Right. So stuff it out. If you don't have like a candle snuffer, which you can get pretty cheap a lot of places. But Mary, we didn't have one time. And she was like, oh, I just put a coffee cup over the top of the candle and it put it out. And I was like, well, that's genius. So you can put a cup or a glass or whatever you have that can just basically stop the flow of oxygen to it and it'll just go out. And yeah. And you can get fancy. You can put stuff around it. You cannot. You can just, the intention and the energy you're putting toward it is what is the most important. All the other stuff is just bonus points.
Yeah. That's a great way to say it. Because I think a lot of it is I mean, if you're holding, I mean, I've held a candle and really been like, let me tell you, candle, what is
girl, same.
Ooh, yeah. I mean that, and you do that every day, that energy that you're building with that candle, guys, like it's just, again, I've mentioned one of my teachers from New Orleans, Kirk, rest in peace. He used to say, if you don't put an intention with the candle, you're just a fool holding a light.
That's amazing. Use a fool holding a light.
Yeah. So, you know, the candle, from what I've learned, is helping the spirits find it. You're lighting their way. And so,
that's pretty.
Yeah, I always love that. Again, Kirk, thank you. So, you know, think of that, guys. You're bringing them to your intention. You're lighting the way for it to happen. And I love your tips, Jules. I think for anybody who's new or even just someone who's been lighting candles for a long time, they're great tips. So
we try.
We do, girl.
Yeah. And then as you get into it more, as you do more, you can start to look to see like how the candle burned, depending on the kind. Is there soot? Is there not? How clean is it? Like, is it just on one side? What did the matte wax make anything? And you can watch it shift as it goes. So maybe we'll have to do a class on that or something sometime. That could be fun. I could talk about candle work like all day. So because it's
it is. I know. And you're, I will tell you guys, I've had Jules, there's been times I've not been in the right space and I've asked Jules to burn a candle for me and things happen. Let me tell you.
Oh,
And they
thank
happen
you.
quickly. And I'll mention a specific candle, but not necessarily the story behind it. But she was burning the candle and she took a picture and she sent it to me. And there was a crescent moon in the wax, which had to do with my intuition and the moon and to listen to my intuition. But it was clear as day. And then once we saw it, remember, you kept burning it and it was gone.
Yep, it took a couple days, but as things changed and
Mm-hmm.
work you were doing, it
Mm-hmm.
changed on the candle. Yeah, it was
Mm-hmm.
interesting.
Yeah. So you'll find stuff like that. I mean, you think like, oh, my candle can't do that. Oh, yeah, it does.
It does. And I
Yeah.
mean, we've even talked, and I was like, you were like, this sounds, but Mary told me the other day, she's like, you're really good at this. I know you don't think you're great at it, like, but
Mm,
you're very good at this. And I was
truth.
like, but don't everybody's candles just burn like this? And she's like, no,
No.
Julie, they don't. So spend time with them, like get to know
Mhm.
them, get to learn how they burn for you and what different things mean. And yeah, and I think
Yeah.
it's really interesting. You can see when you're doing work for yourself or someone else, if the flame's low that day, if it's high that day, if
Mm-hmm.
it's, how much is it making like kind of a rind? Is that,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can take notes and say, like, okay, it burned this way today. This is what happened. I felt this way,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then you start getting into burning tandem candles to help the other one and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I love doing that work for people. That's one of the things I'm offering
Mm-hmm.
now. So if you're interested in that as well,
Well, speaking of that, how
I'm
would
trying to
people,
put it out there. Oh, I'm
how
not
would,
good at this.
yes, you're doing fine. So if folks want candle magic, how do they find you?
So the best way right now is to go to my link tree, which is Linktree, and you guys know how that works. linktr.ee/Julie Atkinson.
Mm,
You can also check my Hedge and Hearthfire Etsy or my Instagram or TikTok, which are all like which I'm trying,
mm-hmm.
and we'll
Yeah.
put the links around. But you can just message me. I'm gonna have an offering up online soon on my booking pages for that. But just reach out, or you can
Mm-hmm.
even email us at highpriestesshypeclub@gmail.com and we'll get back to you about it and we can figure something out for you.
Yeah. I was just gonna mention our email. So if you can't find Julie, sometimes looking for someone online it's hard. Just reach out to High Priestess Hype Club. We both check the email. Julie will come back to you. Don't worry. I also just wanted to mention for folks, some of you may know that I just opened a sanctuary. It's online right
Yay.
now. Yeah, it's called the Traveling Soul Sanctuary. It's a community gathering place. We're going to do education and have resources and services because we want people to feel accepted within a community and
Yes.
find their community. We do have on the website that you can request prayers. And if you don't like the word prayers, like just good intentions, whatever it is, if you're going through something, someone who's going through something, we have a team of folks that will send you good mojo, prayer, whatever it is for your
Yeah.
situations. This is a free service. If you'd like to donate, of course you can, but you would go to travelingsoulsanctuary.com and there's a drop down for a prayer request. And if you would like to be part of the team that sends out good energy and good mojo, there's a space there for you too. If you want to send us your email, we can get you some folks to send some good energy too. So, we're here for it. And again, helping community is what it's all about.
Yeah,
So yeah.
exactly. And that's
Yeah.
why we named this the way we did. Like the Hype
Hmm.
Club is about like trying to have a space where people can come together and
Hmm.
hype each other up and,
Yeah.
help each other out and build community. So we're
Exactly.
now trying to expand on that. And I'm really proud of you. You've done a lot for the sanctuary. That's amazing.
Oh,
So,
thank you. Thank you.
yeah.
So, and we have community gatherings on the last Sunday of every month. So if you'd like to come, you could be off camera. You don't have to participate, on camera but you can participate and just take it all in and let us know if you like it. It's really just, a spiritual gathering every month so that you can uplift yourself and meet some really cool people. So just know that too. Cool.
Awesome.
Awesome. So, Julie, how can people find us, our podcast?
Oh, well, like we said earlier, you can
Yeah.
find us, you can email us at highpriestesshypeclub@gmail.com. You can find us at hypeclub.live. We're going to start having a lot more content up there, including transcripts
Yes.
of the episodes. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook at High
Mhm.
Priestess Hype Club. I think the Instagram one is just High Priestess Hype, guys. So,
Mhm.
but we're there and you can always find us at our own personal places too. And
Mhm.
just let us know what's up. You can
Yeah.
even interact with this if you're on Spotify. You can even interact with us through there. So
Yeah, very cool. All right, Jules, until next time, everyone, thank you so much. And remember, you are magic.
bye.
Bye.
Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at High Priestess Hype Club and subscribe to us on whatever platform you're currently listening to us on now because we're back every Thursday to hype you up. Email us at highpriestesshypeclub@gmail.com and tell us what you think. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.